Good morning, and welcome to 2026. I realize I am a day late. It is technically the second, but better late than never. Better the second than the 22nd. You know what I'm saying, chat? I wanted to make this video because I have been reflecting lately, really over the last half of December, about the direction of, we'll call it my life at a super intense level, but more specifically, the content that I make and the way that I operate within the confines of content. As many of you know, my other channel, Green Means Go Sports, is my main channel. It is the channel that makes me an income. And it is related to sports betting. So let me take a time out. The purpose of this video right here, I want to talk about 2025 and how it ended and things I learned from a personal level, mainly, maybe a content level in some respects. And then I want to talk about what I'm going to attempt to do in 2026, and not just for January and February and March, but hopefully through the remainder of the year and potentially forever, whatever forever looks like. So we'll talk about why I have goals for 2026. And we have to do so by sort of turning back the clock and looking at the end of 2025 and maybe what led to the end of 2025. So a lot of you know my other channel is the channel that makes me the money, and I have sponsorships and I have ad reads and I get advertisements from YouTube and TikTok, and it was successful in 2025. I was able to make enough money that if you would have told me 2 years ago when I started that I'd be making that money in 2025, I would be pleased, and I am pleased. And I tend to look at the negatives in everything. I tend to be critical in everything. And towards the end of that year, I was getting very frustrated because Green Means Go Sports deals a lot with sports betting. And it's what I'm knowledgeable about. It's somewhat what I'm passionate about, but I learned that I'm maybe not as passionate as I thought. But I am knowledgeable, and I do understand the industry, and I have a lot of time in the industry, and there is some credibility there that I think I can use to better an industry that is not good. It's not a net positive for the world. And I was betting more than I think I wanted to without realizing it, because my job called for it. When you are in a sports betting niche, there is this underlying rule that you also have to bet. And in some ways, the more you bet, the more credibility you have. So I was not betting amounts that were putting my family in danger or leading to problems, but I was betting amounts that I personally did not like to wake up and realize I had lost. And that took me some time to mold into something I was comfortable saying. And I had to look at it from a perspective out here and say, what do you like to do? What is your goal? If you're going to do this forever, it has to be sustainable. And I realized that what I like to do is make content. This right here. I would prefer to get on and press record for 10 to 12 minutes and talk to you guys about whatever life than I would to be placing sports wagers. And I learned through the act of reflecting that when I am more concerned about these sports bets winning or losing, I am less likely to make content. When I am involved in researching and placing bets, I am doing less of what I actually enjoy, which is producing videos. And I said in 2026, I got to fix that. I have to approach my job as I am a content creator first who sports bets, not a sports bettor who creates content. And ultimately, that is my goal. So what I'm trying to do, and my attempting to do, is make 5 videos a week for Green Means Go. It has the benefit of having sponsorships and ad revenue, and it is my job. So I'm going to still sports bet, but I'm doing so in a way that is healthy and does not hinder me from making content. So 5 videos over there. I started an in-between channel. That's not Green Means Go and is not this one. That's called Yellow Means Slow. So if you're keeping track at home, we have Green Means Go, Yellow Means Slow, Red Means No. Guys, sometimes poetry just sits in your lap and you have to pet it. And you have to say, that's a good poetry. Good boy or girl. Is poetry masculine or feminine? It's a question. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to take a drink of this because I just made it. And I deserve to. My mom got me this for Christmas. I'm going to show it to you. And then we're going to go back to the topic at hand, this little intermission. It's a hot plate for coffee. You can see it's set to 185. Phenomenal for what I do, which is sit up here and get distracted and my coffee gets cold. So I can do this whole video and my coffee might be hotter than when we started, Chad. Isn't that precisely delicious? Yellow means slow, red means no, green means go. So 5, 3, and 1 is my goal. So if you're watching this like, man, I actually like this channel only. I don't care about sports. My goal is to give you 1 video a week. There may be more, but my goal is to have 1 video at minimum a week. Yellow means no, I want to do 3 a week because there are topics within sports that I'm passionate about that have nothing to do with betting that I want to explore and conversate, and more importantly, give you my opinion on those. So I want to do about 3 a week there, and then 5 on Green Means Go. And I think that will force me in some ways to say I can't spend so much time betting because I have these goals for these channels. Now, ultimately, the goal of those is to get to 1,000 subscribers for each so that those channels can start generating revenue. And hopefully I don't have to even consider sports betting as being something that makes me money, as it did for 3 years of my life. It is just a thing in the background because I have all these other channels that are making money. So it's a good time to say, if you're not subscribed to this channel, consider it. It helps me out, helps me grow, and helps me bet less. I'm going to put that on you guys. So what is that's the like tangible plan as far as my content goes. Personally, what did I learn about myself? I learned that I spend way too much time on my phone. And I had chalked it up to that's my job. Like my job is my phone. I do social media. I do content for a living. Therefore, any phone use is doing the job. And I quickly realized once I forced myself to look at it that there was a lot of time I spent on my phone that was not productive. My number 1 app of destruction is Twitter or X. I told some friends last night, I don't ever get off Twitter and feel better about my life. I always leave Twitter feeling worse about myself, whether that's in a comparison, whether that's some sort of doom and gloom that Twitter is exposing me to about the future of the world. A lot of sports betting stuff I follow, and so it's guys showing how much hundreds and thousands of dollars they're making. It's just this constant, it's negative. Twitter is a very negative place. But it's necessary and useful to me as I'm trying to grow a channel. So it's this push and pull if I need it, but it hurts. It's kind of like, I can't think of anything. So what my goal is, and I got this app, it's called 1 Sec, literally 1 Sec. And when I open Twitter, a thing pops up that says take a deep breath, and it like shows you how to breathe for a second. And then it says, do you really want to open Twitter? It just is a gentle nudge. Do you really want to open Twitter? Because a lot of times I've noticed I'll be sitting on the toilet, open Twitter. Why? I don't know. I'll be making my coffee in the morning. Dead space. Just open Twitter. Why? I don't know. And I do know why. It's to fill the gaps. It's to not have to sit still. It's to potentially get that dopamine hit. And even if I feel bad when I leave, it's still dopamine hits. It still riles me up. It still gets me going. And then if I do need to get on Twitter, so there are reasons I may need to get on Twitter. I may need to get a tweet out. I may need to respond to a comment. So I can say yes, but then a couple of dialogue boxes pop up that says like, why are you getting on Twitter? To scroll, to feel good, to pass time, you're bored, you need to respond to a comment, you need to check likes, you need to post something. It gives you all these options, which is like so my language, so speaking my language, because you know what it does then? Then it keeps stats on that stuff. And you can see like in January, every time I open Twitter, how many times did I decide I really didn't need to and I closed out? How many times did I go into it? Okay, why did I go into it? What was the reason? And was I honest? And if we can cut back on some of those in between doom scrolling, that's great. So related to that, my other goal for 2026, and I want to say these are my goals. You don't have to feel convicted about them because I have them. I grew up in the church, and so I understand like if one person is like, "Oh man, I really gotta lie less." Like I lie to people all the time, and I'm sitting there in church like, "Oh gosh, do I lie? I think I've told a lie before. I really gotta stop lying so much." Well, I don't really lie that much, but that person lies so much, so I probably lie too. I probably just haven't looked at it and like felt convicted for it now, but now the Holy Spirit is like reminding me about lying. I should probably stop lying, even though I don't really lie. And so maybe that's a personal problem. But growing up the way I did, I was like trained, I was conditioned to be convicted about every single thing. And so I don't want to get on here and be like, here's what I'm doing, and then make you feel bad about yourself. Not at all. I'm going to tell you what I am trying to do to better my life. And if you feel like there are things that you want to hitch your pony to my tractor and let's ride through the wild night, then giddy up. I'm on my phone a lot in the in-between is what I've dubbed it. In the morning, when I wake up, first thing, on my phone for a little bit in bed before I start my day. I start my day, I get to my coffee when my water is boiling and I'm waiting for that process, I'm scrolling on my phone. If I'm in the car, driving somewhere with my family, riding, I don't typically drive, I'm on my phone. There are moments that I'm not really trying to accomplish anything, but I am connected to a device. And so this morning, I woke up at about 8 o'clock. I got out of bed. I sat and watched my daughter and wife play. I think they're finishing up a game of Go Fish, and listening to her little Yodo. If you've got kids like 8 and under, and you're looking for something that's sort of technology and can keep them entertained, but also like not a screen and not like brain rot stuff, get a Yoto, Yoto. It's essentially like an iPod, but not at all. Just do some research. I'm just telling you, I'm condoning Yoto right now. Yoto is great. So they were listening to that. I took a shower. I made the bed. I got dressed. I went into the kitchen. I made my coffee. I said, I'm going upstairs to work. I came up here. I pressed record. I have not checked my phone today. First time, maybe ever in my life, that I have been up for an hour and I've not looked at my phone screen. And I think that is a net positive for the content that I'm going to create, because I will allow ideas to come in. Because what else am I going to do when I'm standing there not looking at a screen? I'm going to have to think of things. I'm going to have to do stuff. And so that's why I need to do it. Some of you, you may need your phone for X, Y, or Z or whatever. You may not need to do that. So I was talking to some friends last night. This is the last thing I'll say. And they were talking about this idea of like people going analog in 2026 and disconnecting from screens. And I think a lot of people see the rise of AI. They see the rise of these companies who the number one currency is our attention. They see the way the world is heading. And I think people want to push back on that a little bit. And as a content creator, that is scary to be like, oh, people are clocking out of the internet. Wait, I need you to clock in to watch my stuff, or I don't have a job. And it's not that extreme, but I think as I can relate to that group of people is I can just be a person. You're not going analog when you watch my videos technically, but you're you're borderline going analog. I'm not editing these. I don't have a bunch of fancy this, that, and the other. Like, you have to have an attention span to sit here and listen to me yap. You do. So consider going analog with Red Means No this year. Once a week, you'll get a video. We'll talk about life. We'll talk about things that are happening. I'll bring you some. I have these little notebooks. That's also what I'm doing, so I'm not forced to be on my phone. I have this one. Red means no. I have this one. Yellow means slow. And I have this one. Green means go. And I write down ideas in these as they come to me. And then I decide, are these something I want to make videos about? And that helps me. So red means no. I will tell you, I have 2 ideas here. And the first is talking about my biggest regret so far as a father. The cry it out strategy, which is like something you do for children when they sleep. I kind of want to talk about us as a family trying cry it out and reflecting on it now that my daughter's older. And then I had all the I opened Grok and Gemini and ChatGPT a while back, and I had them all take a political compass test just to see where the biases of each of these AI tools are. And I want to kind of summarize that data and put it. So, like, obviously this channel is going to be pretty random, but it's a playground. And sometimes on the playground, you get a little random with your buddies. So I'm going to check my phone now because I haven't checked my phone today. But we'll see you sometime next week.